Recorded Books and One Click Digital present Buffalo Trail by Jeff Guinn. Narrated by David Carpenter. Prologue. November 29th, 1864. The icy dawn wind brought tears to the eyes of the men on horseback, and they had to squint hard to see. There were almost 600 of them, and besides the wind, many had their visions blurred by terrific hangovers. In camp the night before, they had pulled bottles of whiskey from their saddlebags and gotten drunk in anticipation of a great victory the next day. It was against U.S. Army regulations to drink on duty, but they didn't care. Most of them were 100-daysers, members of an Army-affiliated civilian militia who'd enlisted for the express purpose of fighting Indians after a long summer of deprivations. Marauding Cheyenne and Arapaho had been bloodily active throughout Colorado Territory, and some of these militiamen had lost loved ones. All of them knew someone slaughtered by the savages. For the better part of 3 months, they had scoured the countryside without finding any marauding Indians to kill in reprisal. Now, with their enlistments almost up, they were about to have their revenge. The village of Cheyenne Chief Black Kettle's people abutted the scaly shores of Sand Creek in eastern Colorado Territory. It was a desolate place, far from shade trees, abundant grass, and decent hunting. But when Black Kettle made peace with the white man, this was the place he had been ordered to go. He did so willingly, telling his tribesmen that if they demonstrated good faith, the whites would realize that they could be trusted, and then they could move to a better location. To reinforce his point, Black Kettle flew 2 flags over his teepee. One the Stars and Stripes, the other plain white in the universal signal of nonviolence. 2 militiamen, sent ahead as scouts, cautiously crept to the crest of a nearby hill. Looking down, blinking against the wind, they saw the flags and dismissed them as a ruse. Indians weren't to be trusted. They had pretended to be tame and then attacked any fools who believed them. The ones in this camp by the creek were going to meet white men who knew better. The scouts inched back down the hill, mounted their horses, and rode a half-mile to where the main body of troops waited. Their commander, burly, bearded Colonel John Chivington, said, "Well, are they there?" "They are," one of the scouts said. "A lot of them, all unaware." Chivington, a battle-tested veteran, mistrusted such optimism. "You're certain we're not riding into a trap?" "No danger of that," the second scout said. "Why, I hardly saw a warrior, just some women and children and old people. The men must still be asleep in the teepees." "Well, then," Chivington said. He turned to his officers, who stood nearby. "Have the men mount, but keep it quiet. Those red devils have good ears." One of the officers objected. "There's a treaty, sir. It's well known that the camp is at peace." "Captain Soule, the savages have not honored the treaty," Chivington snapped. "Just ask some of the men here, maybe the ones who knew the Hungit family." Back in June, Nathan and Ellen Hungit and their toddlers, Laura and Florence, had been butchered by Indians. They were far from the only whites to die recently at the hands of hostiles, but the outrage over their murders was widespread after their mutilated bodies were taken by relatives to Denver and displayed for a day before burial. There had been unstinting public demand for retaliation ever since. This put great pressure on the Army. The war between the states was finally winding down. The last thing the Union needed was for the people of Colorado Territory to decide the Lincoln administration couldn't defend them from the Indians. They might then turn to the Confederates.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?